Everyone, and welcome back to Dyson Sphere program. Let's click resume and figure out what was going on when we last left off. Right, so we had just set up, I believe, if we go over here, we had just set up automatic titanium and silicon deliveries, but only barely, and it was incredibly sketchy for a variety of reasons. So, gosh, this trip is actually quite long, isn't it? So, we've got this over here, and it is theoretically providing some amount of those items. And now the problem is that there's dark fog on the other planets, which we're going to need to deal with. Okay, so we just got a delivery of silicon, so that's pretty neat. And that can just run in the background for a while. We're going to need to get more ships. So we have like the interstellar logistics vessel things. We only have 2 in there, and it's not enough to keep up with everything. Also, we apparently have 15 solar panels that I haven't constructed yet. So that's going to be something we have to do. Let's stop by here to charge up real fast. Just because we were getting down to like half-ish. Okay, so now we're charged up like that. So, if we go over here, these are the interstellar logistics ships, and they are missing processors. So, we need to figure out why processors are broken, or either broken or not producing fast enough. We'll see which one it is. So, they're just a little bit over this way. So here we are, and we are short on microcrystalline components, which is itself short on high purity silicon. So basically, it's kind of a circular problem. We don't have enough high purity silicon to make microcrystalline components. We don't have enough of these to produce processors, which means we don't have enough ability to make logistics vessels, which means that we can't do anything else useful. And then without the logistics vessels, we can't get the silicon in. So that's a problem which is just sort of going to have to trickle around for a bit. Eventually, things will show up, just bit by bit, and we'll get more vessels and it won't be an issue. But until that happens, it's going to be a little bit slow. So, okay, we need to be preparing the other planets for like defending themselves properly and having real bases. So let's start by just finding out where we left our solar panels, and because I believe when I had left they needed more solar panels for more power. That was the main thing they were missing, is a good solid power source. And they also needed accumulators, but
flight mode.
Probably less of an issue. Okay, so we can just grab all those solar panels. And they also did need defenses, right? So the dark fog is attacking on both of those planets. Going to be causing problems. There's also some solar panels here that I want to fix.
Flight mode.
So let's fly all the way over to the other side of the planet to get those in. And we just head around here and follow that little line. Alright, so now we're out in this area. Just get those built in. And I don't think we really need to worry about spamming down a billion
Flight
more. It should just be fine as is. I believe, right? Let's check the power.
Extraterrestrial dark
Yeah,
fog
power is
assaulting.
fine. Dark fog is causing problems. Now, did we ever make... We did at some point research geothermal power, so we can just pop that onto here and get power that way. So, let's see, we need to craft those up. And we need steel, copper, photon combiners, and supermagnetic rings.
Flight mode.
So, let's see where all those things are. And hopefully... Okay, the number of units is decreasing. So that's a good sign. That means we're destroying them. Yes, alright, success. So we grab the steel. We need to find copper, photon combiners, and supermagnetic rings. Copper is right here. So now we have steel and copper. We need photon combiners and supermagnetic rings. So photon combiners should... Hopefully, yes, they're right there. No problem. And then the supermagnetic rings are...
Flight mode.
Pretty sure I've built those already. Yes, I have. They are all the way out here. So we can grab all of those.
Mineral depleted.
And queue up another one of you. And while we're at it, grab more copper, grab more steel, make another one. Okay, so we can get that, and we can get that. And I guess we could just make a couple.
Extraterrestrial dark fog is assaulting.
Okay, that's another dark fog attack incoming.
Replication complete.
Potentially an issue, but hopefully
Flight mode.
we'll be fine. So now let's test these guys out. So we must be built on lava. So does this patch over here that we had count or no? Okay, it doesn't. So the lava thing will be useful for Agena 1. So that should be plenty of power for that one. But then Agena 2 is just going to need all the solar panels and stuff. So, let's
Flight mode.
actually get over there to deal with that. And I'm going to need to check. How's my fuel stocks? Pretty good. We've got 100 combustible units, which is better than nothing, but not great. At some point, I'm going to need to get more of that, or get some alternative. Are these? Those aren't a fuel source, right? There are some things which are just like randomly fuel. I don't think this is one of them. No, it's not.
Flight mode.
Alright, so we can head down here, and our combustible unit production is actually quite slow in this area. So we are going to have to fly up to that other place in the old factory to get those. Alright, so we can just fly all the way up here and grab another stack or two of those. Okay, so then the other thing which we need is we need the battlefield analysis bases. So that's steel, green circuits, microcrystalline components, and I forgot what the last bit was. So microcrystalline components, we grab those, done. engines, green circuits, steel plates.
Flight
Okay,
mode.
so we should be able to get all of these just from this area here without having to go very far. That's just straight up a yellow belt. Right, and engines are in here. So now we can craft up 2 of those, which is exactly the number we need. Alright, so we have two battlefield analysis bases, one for each of our planets. And then we need to get some of those little flyer things to put in them. So we head over here, and here's our laser turret supply. I don't think we need more of those at the moment. Okay, we've definitely passed the interceptor thing. So if we go up here, somewhere around here ought to be... Okay, here are prototypes, but the fancy guys are here. Okay, yeah, they're just hard to find. And so we can grab a stack of those. And then we also want to have more of the logistics vessels. If any of those have been crafted, that would be cool. So let's fly on over here and see if we've made any progress. We have. Alright, so we have one more, which I guess is better than nothing.
Flight mode.
But we are going to need to put that in so that we can get 3 of those active from the Interstellar Logistics Hub. So we just fly on over this way and place that in, and should be a solid 50% increase in output. Okay, so you get another one of those, and off you go. Power grid is still doing fine. Okay, so it looks like the titanium supply is relatively solid, and the silicon supply is quite poor.
Flight mode.
So let's go over and make sure that the silicon gets set up. So first we are going to stop by our charging area, which is unfortunately all the way over here. Probably should set up multiple of these just sort of around in various places. Now we don't need to manually bring silicon back because we have that automated now, so we don't need to clear out our inventory for this. We can just charge up and go. So, star map out to... Actually, Agena 1 is about to be attacked, so let's try to hurry our way over there, although the hive is right in the way. So there's not much we can do about that without sort of trying to very carefully avoid it. I guess we should queue up some research. It's been a while since I've had any research going, which is definitely a mistake. So we have ammo, we have better drones, Corvette not an option. We have better missiles, which who knows what those can do. Strange matter, don't know what that is. Casimir crystal. Are any of these like actively useful? I guess let's do interstellar power transmission. That could help solve the problem. So if we have the ability to just send power to various places, that would certainly be convenient. Okay, now it looks like the space hive is getting out of the way gradually. So like that would be the line we go across, and the space hive will have moved even further by the time we get there, so it should be safe. Alright, let's say it's probably safe.
Flight mode.
So off we go.
Cruise mode.
And we're just going to sort of err on the side of going off to the left. And we accelerate. And hopefully we don't get blown up by a space hive. Okay, we are at full speed. Alright, we passed pretty dang close to that, but we're fine. I believe at this point we're moving away. I need to throw some of the fuel into the chamber. That's important. Right, and now we just focus in on headed towards Agena 1. And off we go. We somehow managed to get going slightly above max speed. Not sure how. Could be useful to know, but alas.
Cruise ended.
Alright, here we are. And where is our thing? Could be anywhere, so it's just off to the west. So I believe if we just go this way, it should work out.
Flight mode.
We are in a bit of a hurry because we have dark fog at 95% threat on this planet. Alright, so we're over here. And how exactly is the power situation going? We have a good amount of energy accumulated, not much energy being produced. So if we just pop down a geothermal power plant or two. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these produce like 2.5 megawatts each. That one's... okay, this one here is somehow inefficient, but they produce like 5 megawatts each. So this is like 15 megawatts. So we have plenty of power now, and that should be round the clock. That should be just round the clock without problems. So we no longer have a power shortage here, which means we can get the laser turrets set up a bit better. Just have them be nice and dense so that anywhere they attack, they are going to have to deal with a bunch of laser turrets no matter what. And just a couple more over on that side should be plenty. And then we need the battlefield analysis base, which I believe we should just put it in there. Should cover all of this. Oh wait, I just realized we're going to need defenses over here as well, because this lava patch is now part of the base. So we just get some laser turrets in, and we power them up. And we have to get one over to there. Okay. So that should be all sorted. And you have so much titanium, you don't know what to do with it. And the attack is about to come, so that'll be handy. actually would have been
Mineral
nice
depleted.
if I had thought to bring a signal tower so that I could just set up
Dark
like
fog
one
clusters
defensive
launching an
area
assault.
instead of having to surround all this. Okay, so it looks like they're coming from this direction. And the battlefield analysis base should have us covered. Let's also give you a precision drone thing. And where are those? I know I picked some up. Yeah, here we go. So you get some of those. And the attack just gets instantly deleted. Very nice. And the battlefield analysis base is all good to go. Okay, so this was pretty simple to set up. We've got our geothermal, we've got our lasers. This should be fine for now. Until at some point we're going to have to like actually go out and fight Dark Fog. Like that base is quite close, for example. And there are 3 whole bases on this planet, which is a lot. But it should be fine. For now, at least, this should keep us nice and secure. So, next up, we go to Star Map, and we need to go out to there to get you set up with
Flight
better
mode.
power.
Cruise mode.
Alright, so off we go. And we can just cruise on over. And we can see the occasional logistics vessel going, which is pretty convenient. And speaking of pretty convenient, we managed to land directly on top of our base. It's quite lucky.
Flight mode.
Okay, now let's get over here to this charger and check out how the power is going. And we have currently 22.5 megawatts of power and 12 something gigajoules as well. So this should be mostly fine. I just want to get the battlefield analysis base in and give you some precision drones and tell you to use those. So we should be all cleared. I don't know why you are powered off. I guess you're somehow just sitting in the world's tiniest gap in the power supply. Okay, so now you are charging up, and that should keep this entire area nice and repaired. And it apparently is going to be quite some time before this becomes an actual thing. We have
Research
like
complete.
6,000-ish silicon, and we've just researched the interplanetary power supply. So let's also get gas giants exploitation. That'll be fun. And what is all this? That's just super future stuff that we don't need to worry about. Frame material and Dyson sphere component. Alright, that sounds fun, but not really a priority right now. Right now, actually, we want to just get probably another miner onto this, just to make sure that we have enough silicon. So that can go like so, and get powered up. And just a little bit extra silicon being mined, and this can do its thing. Alright, so we should have this planet nice and set up. It's got its analysis base, the power situation. It is getting to be nighttime, right? So the solar panels are off but the wind turbines are doing some stuff, and they're actually just keeping pace with what we need them to. And so we should be totally fine here as well. Obviously the laser turrets would have crazy power demand, but that's what the accumulators are for, and we should have plenty of that. So this should be mostly all clear for now. So now the question is, where do we go from here? So one of the things is just we need to get enough logistics vessels going to be able to make this transit work, because currently we have a ton of silicon here and none at the destination. So that is just solved by having more logistics vessels. And that is just going to be a question of going back to the base over here and just gradually filling that up. We could have grabbed some silicon while we were here and just manually transferred it over, but that shouldn't be necessary. It should be fine to just let it continue warming up as usual. It's funny, you can see all the little logistics vessels flying around. Like there's one right there that we are slowly overtaking, bringing the silicon ore over. Now, one thing to consider eventually is we'll probably want to be doing the processing like on site, sort of, instead of just sending a bunch of ore over. It might be better to just send, like, to smelt the ore on the planet and then bring it over just the processed version. That's something to consider, but I don't know if it's necessary.
Cruise
Alright.
ended.
We landed by the factory, which is much less surprising on this planet, since the factory is very large. Fortunately, we did get lucky to land right by our recharging port, so we can stand here for a little bit and then go back to work trying to get this whole logistics vessel thing set up. And I hope that the logistics vessels won't get zapped if they travel too close to the space hive. I don't know if they'll like account for that and just not do that, or if we just have to get lucky. But we have another 3.
Flight mode.
We have another 3 of those, so we can fly back over to here. And these trips are getting quite long. So probably going to need to start doing something about that. But our next big thing is going to be figuring out like what resources here we don't have enough processing for, because there's definitely a lot of struggle on this. So if we can just send those 3 in, and they are just going to instantly go off, and that should double our throughput again. And that should help. Should help every little bit that it can. It looks like our proliferator supply is back up to being sufficient. Yeah, I wonder if we probably want to have a box to stockpile this stuff, just so that when it gets used we have enough of it. Alright, so we need to clear out one more row of that in order to fit the splitter in. So we get a splitter, we put a storage container up on top, and I wonder if this technically counts as a fluid that we can put in a different type of storage tank or not. Who knows? Alright, so now we've got that, and it's now all caught up, and this box can now fill. Let's constrain it a little bit, but nothing too crazy. We want it to have a good amount of stockpile, but not like an infinite stockpile.
Flight mode.
Okay, so that is proliferator done. Now, we recently unlocked interstellar power transmission, which gives energy exchanger, which requires all sorts of fancy stuff. And so that is going to be something which we want to build, but we can't realistically do with the titanium supply being the way that it is. It also looks like this coal mine is not going well enough. Like, the graphite output is fine, but if we can just get over here and plop down a little bit more coal onto the patch, then that would be handy. So that is this one up here, and we just will get 2 more mining drills and connect them up like that and like that, and then we just power pull them, and that should be enough coal. Now, we were close to enough coal before, now it should definitely be fine. And this is the crude oil, and it's all having issues as well. Although it actually looks like it might be doing fine, because this one has plenty of... This one isn't running at full capacity, so hopefully that's okay. So coal is good now. Titanium is doing its thing. So we currently have that. We currently have 300 some titanium. And still no silicon. That's definitely being a problem. Although we do have some on the belt, so we had silicon recently, and it's just slowly running and out and trickling through. So that is fine. And this is just going as it does. We could get better assembly machines if we had the interest to do so, but that takes processors, which takes silicon, so we probably shouldn't. We could set up a mini fusion power plant, which would produce theoretically 15 megawatts, which is like pretty good, right? But solar, I mean, we're producing like 150 with solar only, and that is both cheaper and doesn't require an input resource. But fusion might be useful at some point. Now, one thing which I might want to do is like some sort of hydrogen fuel rod if I get the opportunity to have that. That would help with power supply. We're currently doing research on getting stuff from gas giants, which could let us get... There's some resource that was super easy to get from gas giants, right? And was it diamonds? No, it was like fire ice or something. That's what it was called. Is it you? No. Is it... Oh, it was graphene. Yeah, so if we get fire ice, we get graphene and hydrogen. And I believe that stuff is present on the gas giant, which is right next to us. So if we can get that set up, it'll be helpful without too much extra cost. Okay, I happened to see a couple of space vessels show up. We still have enough titanium. And that amount has increased now. But silicon, nowhere to be found. We need even more vessels. We need so many of them. So let's just hop over there and see how that's going. There's not really much we can do to accelerate that, and like basically everything that we might want to do at this point takes titanium or silicon, so it's gonna be pretty tough. How much science do we have? We have 900 some science backlog. We should probably just build more science labs so we can churn through it faster. We have another 2 logistics vessels.
Flight mode.
So let's get another science tower thing built up. Just for times like now when we have a big backlog of science. And I guess we can even set up 2 of them. And those both go all the way up to max height. And they're going to be set to science mode. And then we run the belts across and feed them in. Get a random power pole for you. And then we have to go over here to get these belts in. And just like that. Bam, 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 and bam. Okay. So science is now going burr. And we have thousands of red and blue and almost 1,000 yellow backlogged. So this should go relatively quickly if it doesn't break the power grid, which it might, but no, generation is just low at the moment. So we should be all fine in terms of power grid stuff, and now we can actually burn through some researchers pretty quick. So that is handy. And have we gotten another one of these in the meantime? We have. I wonder if there should be some way of just delivering them over. Like, actually, yeah, let's just get a planetary logistics station in here.
A logistics station.
And
you've taken the first step
sure.
in establishing a planetary logistics network. Set the logistics station at the supplying location to supply, and the logistics drones will automatically deliver cargo to any other logistics stations in demand on the same planet.
Research complete.
Please remember to deploy logistics drones into the logistics station, either a supply or demand one. The logistics drones only work for the logistics station they belong to.
And then you go into there. And this whole thing is going to need power. And that power pole apparently isn't connected, so you can just go back to that way to get it powered up. Okay, so now we have this. And it is going to just deliver the drones, and it's going to send them over here to the setup over here. So if we just fly all the way over here and place down another one of those, which we do have a couple of them, so that should be fine. Should be able to get that set up. So we just get you over there somewhere where it's not too close to another one, and you are going to then receive those, and you're going to get powered up. So there we are, and hopefully that will work eventually. And now we just need to bring that belt over to there. And wait, no, we need to set up. I don't even know if this is possible, by the way. Like, I don't know if it's possible to deliver this in such a way that you go into this. When auto placement is enabled, the item in the inventory will be automatically placed in the slot. Okay. So that, I think, doesn't do what I need it to. But that's fine. At least it'll be close. So now we have 9 of those. How many of these can this handle? Probably a lot. Shouldn't be a throughput issue, hopefully. And it looks like the titanium is starting to catch up and do what it needs to do. The silicon, meanwhile, is still in pretty desperate straits. So, that is troublesome, because I think silicon is the limiting factor above the titanium. I'm not sure. Let's head over and check to see what the limiting factor is. We're going to have to stop to recharge halfway through. Okay, so we can stand in here to recharge, and while we're doing that, let's just click a random research in. We'll probably do some upgrades, maybe, like mech movement speed or inventory capacity. Let's do inventory capacity. That's always useful to have. Inventory is sort of starting to get to the point where we have a lot of things we want to be holding on to. Alright, so all the way over here. Now, what are you short on? Yeah, so you're short on processors. You've got plenty of the titanium alloys and everything. So processors are just the microcrystalline components again. Okay, but these take 40 processors each, so that is a no-go. And we could set up all sorts of weird fancy stuff. And I don't think the piler is necessary. Like, the throughput of our belts is not currently the issue at all. The issue is just the throughput of the number of little guys that we have. So you are set up to... You currently have one of these, and you have 36 of these, but you're not sending them over down to here. So I don't know why you're not doing that. I don't know why you're not doing that. So let's just grab you out, I guess, and just call that a failure. Yes, I think we just have to say that that experiment didn't work, which is fine. So we can just take that apart, fly on over to here, and we can put this one extra vessel in. Alright, so this belt here seems to be starting to pile up pretty well, as does this belt here. That's the green circuits, and you are the titanium. Alright, so our inventory capacity is increased, and we have so much more room in the logistics section now. That's fantastic. So I assume... Oh, we can actually do even more of that already. Or we could get our construction stuff better. Let's see, drive engine plus 1,000 meters per second cruise speed seems not extremely necessary. More vertical construction could always be fun. More distribution range is going to be convenient. Okay, we should probably do vein utilization, right? Just make sure as fast as possible that those resources don't have issues. So we could also start getting our logistics bots moving faster and carrying more, which I think we will do after the flight speed upgrade.
Flight mode.
I think that'll just be our next priority. So we have 400 silicon in here and dropping fast. So that's good that we have it. It'd be nice if we had even more. So I could have sworn I picked up one of the logistics vessels and had it in my inventory. Where are you? Okay, I don't see it anywhere, so I guess not. So you are just doing all you can. And how many things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this might be limited to 10 because there are just 10 slots up here. I don't think it is. I think it says carrying capacity 200, so I assume it's something like that. But I don't know. So silicon supply is actually kind of keeping up at this point. Now, obviously, the problem is the smelting speed, which is kind of pitiful. So let's just get some foundations in here. And add some over there while we're at it. And if we just add a bunch more you guys in, then you all get the recipe. We can set this up so that we can smelt our silicon real fast, which should be helpful in theory if the vessel supply gets to not be the limiting factor. Okay, apparently I missed one, so there you go. So now we can smelt up much closer to like a full belt of silicon. Still not that much, still pretty slow, but it's faster, which means that should be better off. We might do the same thing with titanium. Not sure on that, but the silicon looks like, I mean, last time I checked it was at 400. This time I checked it and it's at 500, right? So it looks like it's going pretty well. We have 1,800 in transit, which is an enormous amount. So that is pretty cool. So the silicon smelting is going along nicely. And how much of a belt is this? It's decent, but not incredible. Like, it's tough to say, but it's probably like half-ish, maybe. We could do a flow meter. Could have flow meters on things to be able to see. I've never messed around with those. I should probably figure out what they do. See how useful they are.
Flight mode.
So our replicator, in the meantime, is struggling to keep up. Definitely struggling to keep up, but it can do its best, and then if it isn't 100%, then that's not really that big of a deal, ultimately.
Flight mode.
So we have all that. So let's see how all this silica output has done for amount of logistics vessels. It should hopefully be quite good now. So let's fly on over. We've given it enough time to craft up. Green circuits are buffering a bit, as
Flight
And
mode.
a decent chunk of this stuff is getting through the belts. There's all sorts of items. Okay, so you are still obviously processor limited. That's not going to change in like an instant, but we have another 4 of these that we can fly all the way back down. And we're just going to have to keep on doing this, and it should get exponentially faster, right? Like, the more vessels we have, the faster the silicon supply shows up, the more vessels we'll be crafting, and it should just go from there.
Flight mode.
As long as we can also have the smelting go fast enough, which we should probably increase the pure silicon smelting as well. So we can fly all the way back down here, throw 4 more vessels into this. Okay, no, slots are full, so this can only take 10. Which means we probably need multiple, because this is still nowhere near enough. So, let's take you out, and then put in an interstellar logistics system, like right there. And you can get 4 of those, and you are going to take in silicon and titanium, and you're going to be a remote receiver. So now we just need to get your belt set up. So we have this one is going to be titanium, and it's going to go over to there. And then we have this one is going to be silicon, and it's going to go over to there. And hopefully with 2 of these guys, we should have enough silicon input to not have issues. And obviously there's also the definite possibility that we run into actual supply shortages on the other side, which would be fine. Because at that point we would just need to go and upgrade that. So this is all set up and running. And this one is all set up and running now. So we have another 600 titanium, 200 silicon input. And as long as we set these up to be the correct size, which I don't actually know if I did. Let's make sure that this is definitely silicon. Yes, alright, so the little filter indicator shows up, so that is good. And that should be that for now. And that just showed up. Not sure what it dropped off, but I'm sure it did something useful. So now let's see here. So are the processors still limited by microcrystalline components? And are the microcrystalline components still limited by silicon input? No. Okay, so the silicon input here is no longer an issue. So we can actually just get another couple of you in. So you go there. And then we... For now, we'll just double this. And then if we need to do more, then we can do that later. So this row just goes forwards, and that row goes forwards. And then all of these guys get input belts. And then this row goes out that way. And they both get output belts. Now the whole thing gets powered up. And that should now be even more microcrystalline components. Looks like 27 per minute each, so we have like 100-ish per minute now total. And not sure whether that will be enough for the processors, but just in case
Mineral
it
depleted.
is, we will add a couple more of these machines in as well. So you get those, and you get those. Then you get input, 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 and then 2 outputs. And then the whole thing gets powered up. And you get your recipes. So now we should definitely have enough processor production. It actually looks like the circuit boards might be a limiting factor almost as much as the microcrystalline components are. In which case we'll need to do something about that.
Flight mode.
Okay, so with that upgrade done, let's fly over and grab... Hopefully we can just grab another 6 of these. Yeah. And now we can fly these back over
Flight mode.
to the other tower. And then both of those will be full capacity, which should be all good. So we just fly all the way over
Mineral
here.
depleted.
And then we can put these in to get even more raw inputs. Alright, so you get more of those, and they're all going out. There we go. Very nice. How's power doing? It's actually like exact in terms of generation versus consumption right now, which is not ideal, but isn't terrible either. So we have another 800 silicon in transit, and you have another 1,000 of each in transit. So that should be fine. Looks like our replicator supply has fallen off. So we're going to need to fix that as well. Now we are discharging power. Alright, I think we might need to
Flight mode.
finish off, hopefully get very close to finishing off this solar power loop. So we have this sort of like 2 wide row around the entire planet. So first of all, we can get some in here. And we have to click force build in order to
Flight mode.
ignore the fact that these technically don't line up perfectly. Right, so that gap has been dealt with. And now we run all the way down this way. And we just follow this until the end of the line and then start spamming out solar panels again. So all the way down here. And alright, so this is the end of that. We should just throw some combustible units in the fuel chamber so we don't have to worry about that for the moment. Now let's get some solar panels placed. So all of these go in. And we're just gonna keep on going until something forces us to stop. Okay, we have officially reached the other side of the base. And it's basically all the way around. Let's just move out of the way of our previous factories for a bit. And not enough soil piles. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. But we are going to just run through and build as much of this as we can. And that should get our solar supply very strong here. And then from here, obviously, if we need more power, it's going to be like expanding it along to have multiple layers thick instead of just two. But hopefully this is a big enough boost. And the accumulators aren't super important. We can just go and pick some of those up at some point. But hopefully this will be a big enough boost in solar power supply that we won't need much for quite a while. So all this stuff goes in. And alright, we've conveniently built this so far that our solar panel supply is actually just right here. So we can grab those, and we can grab a stack of those. Hello, inventory, please. Okay, so now we just need to get them all placed. And then there's just a very tiny gap where we don't... So it's theoretically still some amount, technically, of nighttime, where some of the day side doesn't have solar panels on it, but it should be pretty negligible. So now our solar power should be basically consistent round the clock, aside from like seasons, I guess. I don't even know if seasons exist.
Upgrade complete.
Alright, we've got our vein utilization upgrade. So that will be better use of that. So now let's get logistics carrier capacity upgrade. That'll take 400 yellow matrices. And then after that we can queue up logistics carrier engine. And that should be that. We did get more soil piles from doing all that, so we should be able to just squeeze those last couple in. And it overlaps a little bit, so that is basically solar power done for now. I can't imagine needing more of this. It should be almost 100% stable around the clock. The accumulators are mostly just for show at this point. Okay, so green circuits are in short supply, as is proliferator. Proliferator's in seriously short supply. And it's not super easy to fix. So we're just going to ignore it and just accept that whatever gets proliferated, good for that. Alright, so the green circuits have plenty of all of their inputs. They just need to go. So if I just grab this and just place you in a couple of times and then copy the correct settings across. Okay, so now I need to upgrade some belt lines so that I have enough of the lower tier belts to build things. Okay, so now I just need the not as good inserters to get these set up. And I really just need to swap my blueprint over to not use them anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. We just go over here, grab like 20 of them,
Flight mode.
and we can fly back. We fly back and get all these placed. Alright, so that should be... Oh, this last one didn't get pasted properly. So that should be plenty of green circuits now. Hopefully won't be an issue anymore. And now we have green circuits going out like crazy. And hopefully that'll keep up. And we are also apparently low on just regular old iron plates. And that is an ore issue, not a smelting issue. So let's go see what we can do about our iron ore. So we go back here, and this patch is fully utilized. So if we want more iron, we're going to have to go somewhere else. Fortunately, there is another iron patch just up there. So let's make us some mining drills, which we need magnetic coils for.
Flight mode.
Let's make us a bunch of mining drills and then go out there and add that second patch.
Flight mode.
So which one of you is magnetic coils? Here you are. So you can just yoink a bunch of those, and then we're missing iron plates, because of course we are. So let's just grab some of those. And, okay, 4 of these ought to be good enough. We really ought to automate those.
Flight mode.
But it's fine. We don't need them that much.
Replication complete.
Alright, so we fly up here, and we just get these mining machines onto this node. So you can go there, and there, and there, and there. And then we get power onto all of those. And then we get belts. Oh wait, don't do that. That would be very silly. You need to output onto the belt. Belt then wraps around this way. And you output onto it. And you output onto it. And I guess now we get to see if you can build over a solar panel and have the solar panel still work. I wonder if it takes that into account or not. Alright, so you just go all the way over that. Don't know why it's trying to give a very vertical slope. But I guess if that's what it wants to do, then that's what it's going to do. Yeah, it looks hideous, but it gets there. And then you just come back down and go over here. And then we're going to have to figure out exactly where you're going in a little bit. Now let's get all those built in. It doesn't look like this has actually broken anything. Alright, so you just need to get down to just anywhere on this belt. So we just do that, and you're good. Alright, and there we go. That should be enough iron.
Flight mode.
Should be enough iron to keep this going a little bit better. And our poor replicator supply is seriously not doing so hot.
Flight mode.
So the logistics vessels should stop producing relatively soon now that we have all of those set up. We didn't give the box for them more than like 1 stack, so that should clear out pretty fast, hopefully. Okay, so it doesn't say what you stack to, but it might be 20. It might also be like 1 billion, and if it's like 1 billion, then that's going to be annoying, but it'll just keep running. Otherwise, I assume our science production is just waiting on yellow science, and yellow science is waiting on titanium crystals, as usual. Yeah, so that's definitely the case, and the titanium crystals are waiting on organic crystals, and the organic crystals are waiting on whatever is on this belt, which is not water, not that, it's plastic. So that the plastic supply is doing fine, it just needs more production. Alright, so let's just add 2 more chemical plants in to this row. And then you get an output. And then you get an input. And an input. So now all the belts line up. And then we have to put the recipe in. There we go. So that should solve that problem and get us more organic crystals, which should ultimately result in more yellow science production. So that is all good.
Flight mode.
The red and blue science production has stopped completely. We've got 6,000 of each, which is more than enough. Logistic carrier capacity is about to go up, so we'll see if that actually does what I expect it to do. Actually, how much is this? It says +1. Is that like +1 stack? Or literally +1? It's tough to say. Don't really know how that works. It also might not even be for the logistics vessels, potentially. It could just be logistic bots and drones. I'm not sure. But I guess we'll find out in a second. Because we're down to 20 yellow science left. And okay, somehow we have proliferator down here, but not up here. So how has that happened? Is this just like because it's slowly depleting, I guess? Yeah, that makes sense. Alright.
Upgrade.
So research is done. Now, if we check, if you look at these, that was 8, now it's 9. That was 25, now it's 30. This is still just 200. Okay, so it doesn't really help with the thing we really need it to help with, unfortunately. But it is what it is. It should still be fine. Okay, that box has nothing of interest in it. Okay. So, what is our next big project now that the silicon and titanium seem to be more or less settled? Like, we've got plenty of that, plenty of that. So now that that's not an issue and it's just like a matter of time until it gets fully sorted out, what is our next big goal?
Flight mode.
So, we have the iron plate supply. So back here, obviously, some things are still filling up. And the iron plate supply might actually be just completely empty. Like, is there some point past which it backs up? Yeah, there is. But it's tough to say whether we're accumulating more iron plates over time or less. It looks like slightly more, but it's hard to say. Okay, so our next big goal should probably be...
Flight mode.
Let's just look at the tech tree. So we go to technologies. We have gas giant exploitation. So we can craft these orbital collectors, which apparently consumes collected fuel materials to power the collector. So we can set those up to get fire ice from that other place. Alternatively, we could start working through some of these technologies down here. Corvettes, still not an option until we get those informational matrices. And once we do, then we'll be able to get Corvettes and what are these? So all the resources aside from that are, aside from the technology to research it, I have all these pre-crafted. So if I can get informational matrices, which require some weird nonsense here, particle broadband, which requires a couple things I don't have. So that's one thing I could go down. I could also just grab attack drones and then not worry about it. Or I could start working on like getting this whole Dyson swarm, Dyson sphere thing set up. We have the ray receiver researched. We just need to get actual stuff set up to use them. So we can get that already. We need purple science for that. So we can't really do much there. So yeah, I think our next goal is going to be probably setting up other planets to work better. Because like this planet is kind of extremely busy. And it would be nice to move off to another planet for some things. So, first, before anything else, we would need to set up just a way of importing the buildings and stuff that we make here onto our second planet, so that we don't have to worry about all that. But I guess step one can just be setting up this whole orbital collector thing, right? This should be relatively straightforward, I think. We just get a bunch of these. We need 20 full accumulators, which is going to be, I guess, not that hard to do because we've got them here. So those ones are full. How is it that these ones are full and these ones are completely empty? I guess it's just like filling them one at a time or something. Alright, so if we need 20 full accumulators, let's grab these. Such a weird thing for this to require, but sure. Okay, so we have 20 full accumulators. Step one, check. We already have the interstellar logistics station, so now we need reinforced thrusters and supermagnetic rings.
Flight mode.
So, both of those should be available down here somewhere. So those are just regular thrusters, I think. These are the reinforced ones, so let's grab a bunch of those. And that was enough, so now we just need supermagnetic rings. It looks like the processors are starting to backlog, and now it's the titanium alloy, which is short, so we've managed to successfully push that shortage around a little bit. Now let's fly back to where we can spot the supermagnetic rings. which I thought
Flight
would
mode.
be available around here. Are they like in one of these? I can never spot the dang things. Okay, here they are. Alright, how many of those did we need? We needed 50 of them. Okay, so we've got all those. So now let's produce one orbital collector and see what we can do with that. So we have this giant gas, we have this gas giant right next to us, which should be fine. And speaking of this gas giant next to us, it's kind of a miracle that there aren't like constant eclipses here. That's very close. Alright, so let's now head over and figure out how to use that. We have 100 combustible units, so that should be fine.
Flight mode.
So let's just
Cruise mode.
enter cruise mode, fly on over, and here we are.
Cruise ended.
Okay, so now we're here, and we have... Where is this? Transportation, maybe? Can only be built at the equator. Okay, so... I think this is the way to the equator. Let's throw in that fuel so that we don't run out. And we just fly up. And there we go. Orbital collector in.
You've constructed an orbital collector. It can automatically collect resources from this giant.
Alright, so we
Set your other
have
interstellar
those.
logistics stations as an interstellar demand for these resources. And the logistics vessels will automatically collect the cargo.
Alright, pretty
Resources produced will first be converted into energy to sustain the operation of the collector.
neat. So we've got one of these. We're probably going to need a bunch of them to produce, like, huge numbers of resources. But that's a good start. Alright, now where's our little moon over there? Here it is. So now we just fly on back. And we now have a stable supply of fire, ice, and hydrogen. And I believe
Flight mode.
this might be the faster way to get back to my base. It's hard to say for sure.
Upgrade complete.
Alright. So now our logistics drones and bots can fly faster, which is cool. And we just need to find our charging ring, which is right over here. And we stand in this. And let's just take those out since we don't need to be doing that anymore. And power charges up. Alright, so now we've got a supply of fire, ice, and hydrogen from that gas giant, and we should be able to have like a bajillion of them, theoretically, if we could craft that many. But for now, let's just make use of those. So we're just going to go over here, and our hydrogen supply comes from this setup, right? Or at least this is where part of it comes from. And that all goes out into this setup here, which apparently we have plenty of hydrogen, more than we know what to do with. So we're going to need to come up with something to do with all that hydrogen. But the fire ice is used to make diamonds, right? Or something. Where was it? Where on earth were you? Oh yes, graphene. Graphene and hydrogen, specifically. Is there anything else that this is used for? I don't think so. There's probably There's got to be like some way of telling like all the recipes that use it, aside from just trying to poke around the replicator to find them. But yeah, that'll be handy. That'll be handy in the future.
Extraterrestrial dark fog is assaulting.
Dark fog is attacking a different planet. So that is the other thing which we're going to want to get around to doing at some point, is just preventing those attacks from destroying things. And it doesn't look like anything got damaged, or I would have gotten a pop-up, so that's all good. Science is still sciencing. Like, we're not in a huge rush to select sciences because we can burn through the science way faster than we can possibly create it. So, like, our path would be, like, high-strength material to particle control to information matrix. And then, I guess, pick up Proliferator Mark III along the way. So high-strength material requires carbon nanotubes, which is graphene and titanium, or some weird nonsense that I don't know how to get. So we're going to select that. And it shouldn't be that bad in terms of the amount of yellow science we need. We'll also get some fancy way of creating silicon crystals, which is probably more efficient, if only we knew how to actually get them. Alright, so if we open up the star map here, like, I've checked out all the planets here, right? So we've got this one, we've got Agena 3 with its fire, ice, and hydrogen. We've got you with iron and silicon mostly, and some assorted other stuff. Then we've got this one down here with a whole bunch of titanium and lava. And then we have the Hive, which I do want to go and fight you at some point. That would be quite fun. And then, I guess, beyond that, we'd have to like figure out how to go to other solar systems, which I don't know how to do. It seems quite complicated. So where even is like the tech to go to other solar systems? Is it cosmic exploration? Probably cosmic exploration 3 and something like that. Maybe, what was it, like, there was like a drive upgrade thing somewhere in here that could be what we're looking for, but it shouldn't be an issue. So do any of these upgrades for logistic carriers actually... Okay, yeah, so level 3 upgrades logistic vessels, and then everything past that does as well, although it's going to be expensive. So if we want to get our logistics vessels better, we're going to have to do a bunch of those researches. And otherwise, we can get like supersonic missiles or whatever. But I kind of want to start working on, like, if we can get a power grid across the entire planetary system, that would be quite useful.
Insufficient materials.
So, we need energy exchangers. So we need titanium, steel processors, and the blue stuff. And that's the fancy titanium, not the normal titanium.
Research complete.
Alright, carbon nanotubes researched. Next up is particle control. And none of these... So the fancy smelting are super late game. As are whatever this is, fancy mining. Yeah, so that's a bunch of steps in the future. We're not going to worry about it. But this is short of sulfuric acid. You've got the other items. So where is sulfuric acid and what is its problem? I'm sure it's like all the way back here somewhere. probably. Yeah, here's sulfuric acid, and it's got one singular machine running on it. So let's get some space back here and just fill all that in, and then we really need to just stop being super lazy and get around to automating like all these random little guys, like chemical plants. So we need steel, stone, glass, green circuits. So glass is there, stone is there, green circuits are there, and steel is like weirdly all the way out here. It also seems to be struggling quite a bit. So we're going to need to look even more at that production line. Alright, is that enough to make just like one more? Yeah, we can make another one of you and upgrade the sulfuric acid production. Although I'm pretty sure the machine that the sulfuric acid is going into also requires steel.
Extraterrestrial dark fog is assaulting.
Right, dark fog continues to do their thing. We're just going to continue to ignore them until they actually destroy something. Alright, so you get all that. And you get that. And then that is all set up. So that should be our sulfuric acid. Oh, I see the power pole. Okay. So there we go. That's more sulfuric acid out. Now this somehow still has spray coater reserves, so we're not completely out of that, but like it's not showing up anywhere. I wonder if we need to just like let it... I wonder if it would be useful to just like let this factory sit for a little bit, just like turn some things off, have it stop working quite so hard so that the spray coater can catch back up. Because like once it's going, it seems to last a reasonably long time. But as it is with all of like the science and all the other stuff down here that we're doing, it's just constantly working. So I don't know, maybe because the thing is, like, if we let it wait like that, it'll be more efficient in the long run because we'll have more stuff spray coated, but then it'll probably just start right back up again, so who knows. So let's sit there, recharge for a little bit, and that is that. So this particle control research is almost done. Just have to wait a little bit for that. And then we need
insufficient material. Research complete.
A whole bunch of stuff. Right, particle manipulation technology done. Next up, information matrix. For some reason doesn't require yellow science. Not going to complain about that. That'll let the yellow science build up just a little bit for the next research after this one. And then we still need to be setting up these energy exchangers. So we need titanium alloy, steel, processors, particle containers. So titanium alloy, we just go down here, and it is still just struggling to get stuff done. So we can grab 8, but it's gonna be a while before we actually get up to a reasonable quantity. And you're also starting to run low on steel as well, so we need to do so much fixing in order to get all this stuff functional again. So, the steel input is just not getting anywhere near enough iron.
Flight mode.
So, is that a smelting problem, or is it still a raw resource input problem? Hopefully it's a smelting problem, because those are obviously easier to fix. So we head down here, and yes, it is a smelting problem, thank goodness. Alright, do I have a blueprint for this? Yes, I do. Wonderful. It's not perfect, though. Can't quite get the belts to line up, but it should be fine. Okay, so that is a tropic line. That's why that wasn't working. I was wondering why it was red. So let's just get a whole bunch more of you guys in. And okay, you need to have the correct recipe, otherwise that would be very bad. Because this would be a recipe which could be used with iron ore. So we need to be very careful there. So now that's all set up correctly. And we just have to get this connected across. Alright, information matrix researched. Very good. Now let's just get all this stuff finished off like that, and then we need to go and pick up more of the crummy inserters. So all the way over to here. Apparently we need like 10 of them. So there we go. Grab those. We can bring them back and get iron smelting back up a little bit faster. Those all go in, and now it is back to being a resource input problem. Although it might also partially be a belt speed problem. Doesn't look like it, but I mean, you are having a pretty full belt out here. So let's start by upgrading this belt out past these first couple of things. So the first couple splitters are going to go out and take some of the iron out, and then it shouldn't be an issue as much. So just like that, and then beyond there should be plenty. Although this electric motors is actually like the big place where the iron goes. So let's just upgrade you all the way out to there, because why not? So that is all good. Now it's definitely not a belt output issue. It is just an input problem. And this is getting enough replicator to work. So that's all fine. So we're going to have to set up to make information matrices with processors, and I don't even know what these things are. They're super complicated is what they are. Okay. That's not going to be fun. So let's unlock the next tier of proliferators. And then so that hopefully when we need to go and upgrade this whole proliferator shortage issue that we have going on, we can just get better proliferator too. Okay, so now we need to upgrade like this entire belt, like the iron ore input. So that's Mark 3. And it goes all the way out to here. Now, how much did we get this entire thing? Okay, so now it's not a belt speed limitation anymore with the faster belts. With the faster belts, it now looks like this backlogged area is pushing forwards. And now it is just a throughput issue. Let's get that upgraded as well, just to be sure. So yeah, now it is just that we have not got enough iron ore coming in. So we need even more of that stuff.
Flight mode.
So let's fly back and see if there's like... Okay, so this... That upgrade click that I did didn't go all the way back. So we can still improve this. And if we just have like this sort of main line, be tier 3 belts all the way down.
Flight mode.
Then all the way out to here, this is all tier 3.
Flight mode.
Alright, so we should theoretically have now a full tier 3 belt of iron ore going out. That looks like it's the case. Not seeing any shortages in here. So now we fly down, and this is indeed supplying all of the iron ore that we could possibly use, which means we need to either expand this row even more or just sort of give up and admit that this is what it is. Okay, so we can get this last chunk down here. You didn't get connected up properly, so we can do that. And then for some reason there's a little stretch of slow belts in there, which is obviously no good. And is this out here, is that a full speed belt? It's definitely not, but it is backlogged. Alright, we've done it. We have provided enough iron for the entire system, and we have drained all of our proliferator reserves in the process, but it is what it is. So now that's in the clear, and we are back to being short on titanium.
Flight mode.
So, is the titanium just not smelting fast enough? Yes, the titanium is just not smelting fast enough. So, if we just get a couple of these guys in, and place them out like that, and then copy paste all of those settings all the way across. Alright, now we just connect up all these little belts, and then we connect up all of these little belts, and that should be in the clear for plenty of titanium processing. And that should just all run out, and it does get first dibs on the proliferator, which is actually kind of nice. So the titanium should get all the way out here, and then hopefully make a nice solid difference in our end production. Okay, so at this point in the factory, the only thing which we're short of is the titanium, which we just upgraded and should hopefully be getting cleared pretty quickly. Which means that like anything past here that is running low is a processing issue and not an input issue. At least theoretically. So over here we've got this water supply, which we need more of. So where are water pumps? We need to make another one, or probably another couple. We need iron plates and electric motors, as well as some stuff we already have. So we can grab motors, we grab iron plates. Those weren't motors, those were circuits. These are motors. Okay, so now we can craft up a couple of those and get some water. Okay, so where do these
Replication complete.
get placed? Those can go there and there. And then we just combine all of those belts up. And I don't know why it's doing this in such an ugly sloped way, but I'd rather it not. So this belt comes out here, goes over there, and then goes up that way. And then you connect into there as well. And that is now 3 times as much water output, which hopefully will be enough. There's the titanium shortage there. Here's the hydrogen shortage. So we can get the hydrogen set up with fire ice if we need to. So let's do that. So we get interstellar logistics station here. And we're just going to pop you in like right here, because why not? And you are going to take not deuterium. You're going to take hydrogen and remote receiver and send to the orbital collector. Yes. So now this can take its hydrogen and then you go out to there.
Research complete.
And then you loop up over some of that stuff. We've unlocked Proliferator Mark III. And then you can just attach into that. And theoretically provide us some hydrogen once we get this powered up with logistics vessels. So we fly on all the way down to the end of the line. Let's stop to recharge real fast. So we can just stand in there. And then we will pick up some logistics vessels and bring them over.
Flight mode.
So off we go. And logistics vessels. Alright, so we need to pick up 10 of these. We don't need more than that because
Flight mode.
the logistics hub thing can't handle more than 10 anyways. So we get that. Then we fly on down to here. And there you go. So that should deliver a good solid chunk of hydrogen. And then we'll have to worry about getting rid of the excess fire ice at some point. But that shouldn't be a huge issue. Alright. Next upgrade. Okay, we could technically do research speed, but I don't really want to. So if we get like 1,400 yellow science to increase our logistics vessel carrying capacity, that's quite a lot. We could also just get distribution range. We could get ray transmitter efficiency. That could be fun. A lot of options in here. A lot of options. There's even drive engine tier 3. And then a whole bunch of extra ones. Yeah, let's start working on the logistics carrier capacity. So we're going to need to get through all that stuff eventually. Might as well start now. Okay, so this belt here, this is our supply of sulfuric acid, I think. And it is super low. Okay, yeah, our hydrogen supply is here, and it is doing great. So that's not going to be an issue for a while. And if we just fly forwards here, it's basically just this sulfuric acid belt, which is limiting us at this point.
Flight mode.
So, I kind of want to get more of these up and running, which would require automating chemical plants probably, or at least not require it, but make it very recommended.
Flight mode.
So that's an option. And how is the production going of the titanium alloy? Is it still completely awful? Okay, it actually has the sulfuric acid, so I think we actually have enough sulfuric acid, and it's just that belt is slowly working backwards. So now you are short on steel, which should be an easy fix, hopefully, because I know we've fixed our iron supply recently. So we go on over here, and let's get another... Actually, I don't know why I'm doing this manually. Yeah, this is what we have blueprints for. So let's actually just fix this blueprint. I've been complaining about it being an annoying blueprint for ages, so I might as well fix it. So first of all, those go out. Second of all, those get upgraded. And these go in. And you can... let's see,
Extraterrestrial dark fog is assaulting.
How do we change... Okay, yeah, we can change recipe by just clicking on that little X. So you need to... We need to just copy this. And call you smelter row V2. And then we give you the little image so that we know what you are. And smelter row V2. There we go. Okay, so now I guess I still didn't fix that other problem with it, but that's fine. Okay, dark fog is continuing to do its thing. I think they probably just haven't made it yet. Alright, starting to see damage showing up. Alright, so let's just add in a bunch of these guys. Just so that hopefully it'll be a very long time before this will ever be a problem again. It'll just saturate, and then we won't need to worry about it at any point in the future. So this goes forwards all the way. And now we just get the recipe pasted across. And there we have it. So that is a much larger amount of steel production, which should be quite efficient. So we've got that going out. And that is going to go all the way down here into mostly this, mostly into that, and probably some other stuff too, like it goes into making these guys, which then go into making these guys, which at this point we probably have enough of that, like,
Upgrade.
we're not going to need more for a long time, but it'll be nice to have at least. Alright, upgrade complete. So now we can set that one in, and it'll actually help us. So our logistics vessel carrying capacity can actually increase in a useful way from that. So we've got all that. Now, what was this? Right, so I keep trying to make these, but get messed with by the lack of resources. So now titanium alloy production is going much better. And in fact, now your throughput is the main bottleneck. We have plenty of steel, plenty of titanium, even plenty of sulfuric acid. So let's grab the blueprint. And okay, so this is gonna not be perfect, but ooh, that last one is spaced wrong. I guess that's fine though. So we are going to need to, yeah, actually this
Extraterrestrial dark fog
right
is
at
assaulting.
all. Alright, so these are actually just not useful because of how different they are from what we need here. So is this one? No, that's just the same. That one is the same. That one is the same. Alright, yeah, so this one just needs to be done manually. Okay, we lost a laser turret on a Geno 1. That is potentially an issue. So we are going to need to do something to fix that. So arc smelters go in, and we're actually going to need to go and grab some more of those for the first time in a while. So this all gets set up. 3 inputs and an output. And then inputs get belted in. And then the sulfuric acid goes. And then we get the outputs. And settings get pasted, and a power pole goes in, and we're all good now. So that'll be, I mean, we used to have 2, now we have 5, so it's more than twice as fast. And the sulfuric acid is potentially a limiting factor again, which is unsurprising. But we have plenty of this stuff going out. So let's just sit here and grab this, because we need like 40 of it. So now we're up to 28. And rip the sulfuric acid supply. It's all gone, basically. Okay, so we have enough there. We don't happen to have any sulfuric acid just like in our inventory that we can just toss in here, right? Right. None of that. But we have enough of those to make the ray receivers, so now we just need to pick up a similar amount of steel, and we need processors and these guys. So we get some of those. We find our processors. And I guess technically we need 2 of these in order for it to be remotely useful. But we can produce 1 and then start thinking about the next one. And really, I'd rather have 3.
Replication complete.
So that the entire area can theoretically be balanced. Okay, so this is our output here. And then some of it goes down that way over to here. And yeah, so it's just the sulfuric acid problem, which we desperately need more of that.
Flight mode.
So let's just automate chemical plants. We should have done that like a billion years ago. Might as well do it now. So, bus assembler lane V3. You go in there. You get force built. I don't know what we were overlapping there, but let's take those missile turrets out. Really, this blueprint also uses the old-fashioned inputs and outputs. Alright, so we can get those upgraded. And just a couple more upgrades ought to do. And we just need that to be upgraded, and now all of them at least have something. Alright, so you are chemical plant. Chemical plant, there you are. So you need steel, stone blocks, glass, and green circuits. So, steel, stone bricks, glass, green circuits. Green circuits are right here. So we can just bring those forwards. So those go out to there. Then we have steel, glass, stone bricks. Steel is right up here. So that can go forwards the rest of the way. And glass and stone bricks, I feel like I brought these up in preparation to do this, but then never quite got around to it, so I feel like they're probably like back here somewhere or something, but not infinitely far away. Yeah, here they are. Glass and stone bricks, both right here. So we just run that belt all the way along, and then however much of that can get built while I put in the glass belt. And that oh wait, no. That went up in altitude for some reason. Dang it. Alright. I can't even, like, chain dismantle this because it goes all the way back to here. Okay, so we just have to go all the way back to here and pop you out, then chain dismantle all of that. And now we get this going forwards at altitude 1, like a perfectly normal belt. And there we are. So now these are all in approximately the right location.
Mineral depleted.
Just need to get this last little bit connected across, and then we'll be good to go. So that goes, and we have glass. Alright, so now we run up here, and we can put in our splitters for all of these guys. So you, and then the steel all the way up there. So now all these need to actually get in to the belts. So you have to go around like that. You squeeze around like so. You go around like that. And then this one can just come down there. And now we just go pop all of these guys in. And that should be that. Okay, we just need that one last little bit to get constructed. And, okay, this random power pole is somehow in the way. So we need to take that out, connect that across just for the sake of having it be connected. And, oh, this is the bit that didn't get built properly because there was a machine there or whatever. Alright, so now we have chemical plants. We will bring this belt all the way across and out to up here where we can just put them in a box and not worry about it. So that all goes out. You get a splitter with a box on it. And that splitter goes in like that. And then we only need like one stack probably. Alright, so we grab all of those. And now we have a respectable supply of chemical plants. We can fly back, do a quick recharge, and then deal with that sulfuric acid shortage that we are constantly facing. And this is the organic crystals. We probably need more of those machines as well.
Flight mode.
For now, let's get the sulfuric acid up and running. So we fly back to here. And you can we just blueprint you. So if we just blueprint like that, that should be fine. And then we can click use now and place a couple of those guys in. And then skip past the tropic line and then get another one. Alright, so now we just get the recipes pasted, and then we get the belts pasted, and those go across super awkwardly. Boy, I sure do love tropic lines. They're my favorite gameplay mechanic. Okay, so that... Okay, wait, no, this goes this way. That's why it's not working properly. So this whole belt... Actually, we can just have you reverse path. So you go in like that, you go in like that. Then we just have to connect all this stuff across like so. And get power poles. So you get a power pole, and that's actually just barely enough to work. So that should be plenty of sulfuric acid. If that's not enough sulfuric acid, I'm going to be really upset. And I also still don't fully remember what all this sulfuric acid is even for, but it's definitely going into something. And we also apparently need more of those. The constantly increasing demand just never ends. This is one of the things which is most cumbersome about bus-based designs, is that it's very difficult to tell like when you have enough of something as opposed to just like custom designing it all in advance to have good ratios. Then you know it'll work. Whereas with this, it's sort of a mystery. Alright, so sulfuric acid supply is now going strong. And I think the like theoretical amount of demand we have for these titanium alloys is like practically infinite, so I'm not expecting to see much progress on that backlogging anytime reasonably soon. But the interstellar logistics vessel is sort of the end of it, and if this only stacks up to 50, which would be a reasonable amount for it to stack to, I don't know if it does, because I don't know how to check that. But if that is what it stacks to, then this might almost be done, and then we might get a backlog of titanium alloy, which would be real cool. If this hits 51, then I'll be very sad. Alright, it did not hit 51, which means that that one is just sitting in the splitter. And we are all clear on that front. So that titanium demand should die off pretty soon unless we start spamming these around.
Flight mode.
And the extra sulfuric acid is still nowhere near enough. So this is like 5 per minute per machine.
Flight mode.
And we have 5 machines. We have like 25 per minute. Whereas this is... There's just no way of knowing because of how this portrays it. Alright, so yeah, we have... The chemical plants are backlogging nicely, and the logistics vessels are starting to backlog on the belt. And in a little bit, that will get to the point where we can hopefully stop using every single ounce of material to make them. So what's our science short on? Science is still short on titanium crystals, which is still short on organic crystals, which just needs more production speed, it looks like. Although this water pump being here is actually extremely awkward.
Flight mode.
Yeah, we might have to move that water pump to get more organic crystals in. What does this take? Plastic, water, and refined oil. Yeah, it's probably fine. It's probably fine.
Flight
So
mode.
let's just camp the titanium alloy output and try to make another energy exchanger. And once we have that, then we'll be able to have access to all the power we need on the other planet, hopefully. Or we'll at least be able to see how it works. So we just have to sit here, hold down Control left click until the number in the bottom left hits 40. So here we go. Basically just need to distract ourselves for a little bit and do something random elsewhere while this all runs, but easier said than done. So now we grab a bunch of steel and processors. So we go up here, grab us our processors. Now we can make a second energy exchanger. So that goes up. And we've got 2 of them.
Replication complete.
Alright, 2 energy exchangers.
Flight mode.
That's that. Now we need to go over and grab more fuel, because I just always need to be grabbing more combustible units for these trips to other planets. So we just fly down this way. And there should be combustible units somewhere in here. There they are. Okay, actually, I know what we can do. We can give you a logistics distributor and logistics bots. And then we can add combustible units in the items. So you provide us with at least 200 of those. Those can then all get stacked up. Okay, so I'm going to this other planet. What am I doing? I'm basically just plopping down energy exchangers. And that should be it. So step 1, get an energy exchanger here. We can sort of just put it wherever, right?
You've built a powerful energy exchanger. It can quickly charge accumulators with surplus electricity from the power grid. Or rapidly release electric power stored in accumulators to the power grid.
Alright.
It continuously supplies power to the power grid if the logistics are stable.
Okay. Sure. So I don't know what... This says that this sends things to other planets, right? In the tech... Am I crazy? Did I misread that, or... Yeah, so this comes from interstellar power transmission. And it says it converts surplus power in the power grid into fully charged accumulators and discharging them on another planet from another energy exchanger. So, we have you selected to charge. And I don't know what this means, these symbols over here. Do we have to like put accumulators in there? I should have some, right? Yes, okay, so we put you in there and you just charge those up. And then now we have fully charged accumulators. I really need it, like a more detailed tutorial on this side of things. So in charge mode, it uses surplus electricity in the power grid to fully charge an empty accumulator. In discharge mode, the energy exchanger consumes fully charged accumulators to release energy and supply power to the power grid. Okay, so we have all this, and that's charging up. So now we also have our fuel, right? We've got 100 in there and 100 in there, so that should be plenty. So if we go and we just select Agena 2, let's fly down there and see what happens.
Flight mode.
So let's get our cells fully charged first. I don't understand how these energy exchangers are actually going to work. Like, are we going to have to do that manually or something? But I guess we will see. So let's just get to a charging station so that we can be fully topped off before we leave. And we can sit here for a little bit. Alright, so that is fully topped off. And now we can just launch, and I don't know where the hive is, actually.
Cruise ended.
Okay, the hive is like potentially an issue. Oh, we ran into the gas giant. Alright, so the hive is potentially an issue. We're going to want to sort of go around to prevent that. And throw some fuel into the chamber. So we're going to sort of go up a little bit. Hopefully get above the hive so that that's not an issue. And now maybe if we turn in towards Agena 2, we should be safe. Not sure how close we're going to wind up getting to it, but probably will be all right. Let's just assume that it'll be fine. And if we travel at full speed, then maybe we'll have enough time to get past even if we do wind up too close. All right, we're fine. So we just land over here somewhere.
Cruise ended.
And now we have to find our base on this planet, which is like all the way. Yeah, so I'm here, right, on one daylight border, and it's all the way here on like the other one. So I just sort of need to sort of head along the, I don't know if this is dawn or dusk, but I just need to head along this, and we should get there. Yeah, here we are. So we get here, we can stand by a power tower to recharge. And now, if we pop down an energy exchanger, you can then be set to discharge. There's got to be some way of setting these to automatic mode, right?
Upgrade.
Surely I don't have to sit here and automatically push button and manually push buttons, right? That would be silly. So, okay, let's see. So the power grid here has like 6 megawatts of power. It's very small. So if I just like put some of those in, and I set you to charge mode, then you are taking just all the power from the grid, including probably some of these guys, to fill this. Yeah, I don't understand how this works. It says it does interstellar stuff, but it doesn't seem like it. Alright, so now we've got that. Now we've got that. I don't understand how that works. So the silicon supply here is more than enough. So we have, obviously, more silicon than we can deliver, and I think on the delivering side we were also good. So this should be fine. This should be fine over here if we just... Let's see here. Is this silicon smelting like more space efficient? This is 2 to 1, and they probably stack to the same amount. So yeah, if we were to set up smelting over here, it would be better, but I think actually we are completely out of arc smelters, so that's not an option. Alright, so we have this here charging, and it's just absolutely fully charging at 25 megawatts, which, how much, like each of these wind turbines and solar panels is not that much. So this might actually be working. I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. So it says that this lets you, I guess you just charge them up and then like send them over. Is that really what we're doing here? We're charging up accumulators. Yeah, no, that's definitely what we're doing. We're charging up interstellar power transmission via just shipping batteries in the mail. I guess that makes sense. And I mean, it's not gonna break or anything, right? It should work just fine. It's just not exactly the high-tech system I was envisioning. So yeah, what we can do is we have you set to discharge mode, and you would like, this would request accumulators and be a source for empty accumulators, and then they would just go through here, and then that's very funny. I guess that's, as far as ways of doing interstellar power transmission without serious losses, I guess that actually makes sense. Alright, so let's find some other research to do. We had like this logistics carrier capacity stuff upgraded a bunch. We can also get the engine improved, and then at some point we're going to want to do another 30 degrees of distribution range, which would be quite helpful. Okay, and then let's just get like... I should have brought... See, this is the second time I've forgotten to do this. I should have brought a signal tower, or at least the resources to make one, so that I can have this be better defended. Yeah, so I need steel and crystal silicon, which neither of which I can easily get from here.
Dark fog cluster is launching an assault.
Okay, so we are being attacked, and it is coming from this direction. So I guess we will just hang back and see what happens. Battlefield analysis base is here, and it's got bunch of fighters. Not that you would know based on them ever doing anything. But the lasers were more than enough, so that's fine. Alright, I don't understand how the fighters are supposed to work, because they don't seem to, like, I've basically never seen a fighter do anything. And I don't understand what is going wrong. But it's fine. Alright, so we have our silly chargers, energy exchangers. We can do that. So I guess the next step would be to make Proliferator Mark III, which should be the last type of proliferator we need. So we're going to need a bunch of Proliferator Mark II. And this is actually more efficient in number of sprays. So this is 24, and this takes 2 of them to make 60. So it gives us 12 extra applications per item, basically. But then it also needs the, what are they called, carbon nanotubes, which we can either make it with titanium plus graphene, or we can make it with stalagmite crystal, whatever that is. So I think it's going to be titanium plus graphene, and we can get graphene from fire ice already, but the other alternates are going to have to wait. And we're going to need a lot of this. We're going to need so much, because like the amount of Proliferator Mark II that we have is already not enough. So we're going to need to make a giant bucket load of titanium, a giant bucket load of graphene, and we'll need to find something to do with all the excess hydrogen, which shouldn't be too bad. And then solar sails are another thing. So we can launch solar sails from the EM rail ejector to start making the Dyson swarm, which is basically like the late game power of choice, right? So it would be graphene, which we can get infinitely from the gas giant, and photon combiners, which we can't get infinitely. It takes iron and copper to make circuit boards. So that's interesting. And these have like a lifespan, right? So that's the big downside to them as opposed to other power generation things, is that they just constantly drain your resources. So I don't know if I'm super eager to rush into that until we have actual power issues seriously. I don't think that should be necessary. So carbon nanotubes, we need a huge amount of titanium, which we can get from Agena 1. We need a huge amount of graphene, which we can get from the gas giant, Agena 4, or 3 maybe? I don't know. The gas giant that's right next to our starting planet. And with those two, we should be able to make enormous quantities of carbon nanotubes, and then add that to a bunch of coal, and you just get proliferators. Alright, so that'll probably be a job for next time. We also have information science to worry about. So once we have the carbon nanotubes, that'll be helpful for that as well. And then crystal silicon. What is this? Fractal silicon. I have no idea where we're supposed to get all of these various items from. Like, they're not here, right? There's no fancy rare stuff on this planet. So yeah, don't know what that's about, but should be fine. So I think we're going to wrap up there for the day. So thanks everyone for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. We've made good progress. We've sorted out a lot of the just basics of the interstellar stuff, and we have at least like a theoretical understanding of how to provide power with energy exchangers. We haven't actually set it up to work yet, but shouldn't be too difficult. And we've also finally gotten around to automating chemical plant production, which is nice.
Flight mode.
That's a useful thing to have. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap up there for the day. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We will be back to Factorio tomorrow, where we are trying to figure out how to get a reasonable quantity of legendary holmium, because boy do we need a lot of it. So that'll be that tomorrow, and then we'll be back here in Dyson's Sphere program on Thursday, where we are looking at our Tier 3 proliferator. And that'll be that. So, thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a lot of fun today. And I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, so if you're interested in assorted factory building games, currently doing Factorio and Dyson Sphere program, then you should give me a follow so that you know when I'm live, what I'm playing. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks everyone for hanging out, and I will see you guys next time.